Zombie Apocalypse.
Hello everyone, I thought I'd give you a brief little description as to the context of this video, because when I was filming it I weren't too sure. So we had the Fronius representative come down to my workplace, and behind him he's wheeling the new TranSteel 500, so of course I have to test it out. So you're going to see a few videos of me testing out, a little overview of it. Nothing too in-depth. I'm new to this YouTube, so I didn't want to stick a camera right in front of his face. So some parts I missed, some parts I got, but I've done a little practice butt weld and he showed me a little bit of the features that he has. But my first weld came out nice, so I'm happy with the machine. But don't you worry, the TranSteel isn't replacing my TPS 400i. My machine's still better, but by no means is the TranSteel bad. It's a brilliant machine, it just doesn't have all the bells and whistles that my TPS 400i has, so it makes it cheaper. So I want to give a shout out to Paul. He came down, showed me the machine, taught me some things I never even know about my own machine, so yeah, cheers for that. And a shout out to Fronius. Feel free to send me anything, I'll test all your stuff. By no means is this a review or an overview or anything along them lines. It's literally the day in the life of me. So that's why the video is going to seem a little bit not my usual kind of videos. It's a bit all over the place. I weren't really sure what angle I was going with, but I thought I'd bring you lot along with me and hopefully you lot can enjoy it. And remember to hit that subscribe button, it helps me out a lot.
Program, you now come to here where you set your main welding parameters, and this here is exactly the same with this. Instead of being on that carousel, you just scroll through. So you've got your plate thickness guide, which I know you don't use anyway. You've got your amperage, you've got your wire feed speed, and to adjust you just use the dial to turn up and down. Then you've got your arc length correction, your voltage and your inductance, and again you just change on this dial here.
Sweet.
So, very, very simple. Once you've got a setting you like, you've got your 5 easy jobs the same as
save
there.
them.
So you can hold in, say, number 5, that gets programmed, and that's in number 5. And again, you can adjust it, every time you press 5, it jumps back. And with this, we've got the one added function now where we've got, before this machine only had standard synergic, but now you've got standard synergic and pulse. So when we select pulse, it tells you it's pulse, and now we're in pulse mode.
Okay, lovely.
So with arc length correction, basically it's fine tuning your voltage.
Okay.
With this machine here, when you change your arc length correction, so when you're in standard mode, say you go -2, you're reducing your voltage, but until you actually start welding, you don't know what it's reduced to, do you? You know you're just reducing it. On this machine, what it does is a function. So now if I go onto my voltage, I've set that at 5 meters a minute. Do you know what normally sort of voltage you like to run at?
No, normally we've got the amps. We just trouble the amps really. Yeah.
So, but in the case, sometimes when I've gone on site before, a welder will know exactly what he wants. He'll say, I want 5 meters a minute at 19 volts.
Yeah.
So when you set up synergic, they'll say, well, that's 5 meters a minute, gives me 17.3 volts.
That there will be a normal nice route setting for me anyway. That's a good route setting.
Say you wanted a slightly different voltage, sometimes they say, well, I can't work in synergic because it's not giving me the correct voltage setting for what I want.
Yeah.
So now when we correct the volts using the arc length correction, see, it changes your voltage, so I can set 19 volts and it's telling me that's +10 on the arc length, leaving my wire feed speed at 5.
Okay.
So now when you change your arc length, you actually see the real change in voltage. Instead of there, you don't really know what it is until you start welding.
Yeah.
So it's quite nice if you're working to a procedure or a guy really knows what setting he likes, you can really see it from here. that's our current R value there, 16.
You take the tip off and then you...
So yeah, make sure the wire's pulled back and then you place your tip, hit the trigger, it sends a small pulse round. It basically sends a small current and it measures what it gets back, so it knows how much it's lost.
Yeah. Setting up the new machine was easy. We did a resistance check of the earth cable so we know the Fronius is getting the right values. Next we installed a new roll of wire, and he showed me a feature how you can feed the wire through without wasting any shielding gas.
You hear the gas, turns itself off, now it goes into engine mode. Another feature the Fronius representative showed me was the spot brake function.
that allows you to push the trigger once, and then the Fronius machine controls how long it welds for and how long of a duration it pauses for the weld to cool down until it welds again. It saves you having to squeeze the trigger multiple times to fill gaps. Then finally I messed around with the special 4-step mode. This allows you to have 3 different welding settings with the push of a trigger. When you push the trigger in a little bit, it starts off at a certain power, whether it be a high power or low power, and then you fully push the trigger in, that's your main welding power, and then when you let go it carries on welding because it's in the 4-step mode. And then when you're ready to push the trigger to stop, you can push it in, and then you can either ramp down or ramp up depending on what you've got set up. So I'll give you an example for my case. I can start off at a low power so I don't get a big build up at the start of my weld, and then I can weld it all the way around, and when I'm coming to my end I can then turn up the power so I can burn in and have a nice tie-in. And if you've enjoyed what you see, hit that subscribe button for more weekly videos, and I'm going to leave you lot with my fish.
Zombie apocalypse.